Toto, we're not in Russia anymore. How many of us have seen the words in the scenario special rules, PTO terrain is in effect, including light jungle, and automatically put that scenario into the sometime pile? There are lots of unbelievably good scenarios sitting in that pile. In an attempt to play those scenarios, we are going to show the differences on the same board when European terrain is in effect and when PTO terrain is in effect. When you combine the special rules governing the Japanese Army with the terrain changes that take place in the Pacific, you get a real feel for how tough the Pacific theater of operations really was for the combatants on both sides. The first major change occurs when the gentle forests of Europe are changed into the tough jungle of the South Pacific. On the board, it looks the same, but the rules are very different. All woods are turned to jungle when PTO is in effect and become a second-level line of sight obstruction. They also have the -1 airburst penalty just like woods. If the jungle is not termed light jungle, then it is considered dense jungle, and the following changes apply in addition to those for all jungle. TEM is increased to +2, but the -1 for the airburst still applies. Infantry and cavalry stacking limits are reduced to 2 to hexes that do not contain a building or road, but overstacking is allowed. Dense jungle becomes inherent terrain, so it blocks line of sight along the hex sides except if there is no land terrain adjacent to that hex side, and there is no bypass along a dense jungle hex. A non-adjacent ground unit at a different level than that of a dense jungle's road hex base level can have a line of sight to or through it only if it follows a continuous slope. An aerial unit has no line of sight to any non-aerial, including the road portion of a dense jungle hex. It still costs 2 to enter a dense jungle hex. However, horses must be led along a road, path, or trail break only, and cavalry can only enter along a road or path. The only vehicles which can enter a dense jungle hex without a road or path or trail break are fully tracked AFVs, and they cannot be tankettes or carriers. If a fully tracked AFV enters a dense jungle hex via a non-road path or trail break, in addition to the normal +3 DRM for bog it receives entering woods, it's a +2 more additional DRM for a total of +5 DRM, then adding on ground pressure, towing, etc. You cannot bypass dense jungle except via an amphibious vehicle via the water hex side. Any parachute counter that enters a dense jungle hex must take a morale check even if a 1/2 inch one. During a daytime scenario, any unit not in a cave in an interior dense jungle hex must make a movement dice roll before moving. Once it's moving, it does not have to make the roll again. And finally, and possibly most importantly, no mortar may fire from a dense jungle hex. It is important to understand dense jungle because it is the basis for bamboo. When PTO terrain is in effect, all brush hexes are treated as bamboo, and bamboo in turn is treated like dense jungle with the following exceptions. Broken units cannot claim rally terrain bonus in bamboo unless they are in a pillbox. Infantry can only enter bamboo via minimum move, low crawl, or advance against difficult terrain. Straying can occur in an interior bamboo hex, just like in jungle, and searching an accessible bamboo hex counts as searching 2 hexes. Now, with regards to getting shot at in bamboo, instead of lecturing, let's use an example. The Japanese 347 is having a bad day. It's surrounded by Brits and is about to get blasted by 4 types of fire. If the 648 fires at the 347, it would be on the 12 table with a +1 DRM. In bamboo, non-HE equivalency HE attacks receive a -1 DRM. So the DC attack would be on the 30 column with a -1 DRM. The 80mm FFE2 blast would be on the 16 column with a -1 DRM. And the 140mm artillery piece, if it hits, will be on the 24 column with a -1 DRM. If it was an AP shell hitting on the 1 or 2 firepower columns, then the -1 DRM would not apply. If the shot was occurring during the enemy movement phase and was to leave residual firepower, the residual firepower left in the bamboo hex would go up by 1 column if it received the -1 DRM. Bamboo is a level 1 inherent line of sight obstruction with a +1 TEM. And finally, guns cannot be placed in bamboo, but it can still be hip. With regards to bamboo, the three things that come into play the most are the following. First is that bamboo is inherent terrain, so it blocks line of sight in the entire hex, not just the depiction. Second, it is a level 1 line of sight obstruction, not a half-level obstacle, like brushes. Third, no mortars in bamboo. The other things don't commonly come into play because bamboo is so inhospitable to troops. This concludes Part 3 of our Imperial Japanese Army in ASL. I hope you found it useful and enjoyable. But remember, the best way to learn this great game is play and play again, and don't worry about making mistakes. Find an experienced opponent. Perhaps travel to one of the ASL conventions around the country, like the New York State ASL tournament in Albany, New York, or Little Reester in Massachusetts. For all the latest news about this great game, check into our website at www.theadvancedsquadleaderexperience.com. We recently reviewed the new Rat Pocket charts from LFT, and follow our blogs for scenario suggestions and our total immersion small scenario method to get new players into this great game. Don't forget to stay tuned for the winning number in this month's J&D giveaway. And like always, thanks for watching, and take care. Here's the winning roll for the J&D Hobbies raffle. Congratulations to our winners, and good luck next month.